Brought to you by Pull Cafe Wood Roasted Coffee. Taste the history. It was in nearly every American kitchen, every diner, every office. For over 50 years, the percolator defined how this country made coffee. Then, in barely a decade, it was gone. The complete history of this machine begins in 1889 with an Illinois farmer photographer, a patent for a device with no moving parts, and a brewing cycle powered by nothing but boiling water. What made it so dominant, and what finally knocked it off the counter? Long before the classic stovetop pot, inventors spent decades trying to separate coffee grounds from the final brew. In early 19th century Europe, this meant moving away from boiling everything together. Around 1819, French tinsmith Joseph Marie Laurens experimented with an upward drip vessel. Shortly after, Count Rumford developed his own filtering devices. These early designs relied on single-pass drip methods rather than continuous recirculation. The first official milestone in America arrived on December 26, 1865, when James H. Nason secured U.S. patent number 51741. Nason's coffee percolator used a downflow gravity-driven system that pulled water down through a basket. This established the pot and basket structure, but it left a major engineering puzzle unsolved: how to automatically cycle heated water up and through the grounds within a single compact vessel. On January 12, 1889, an Illinois farmer and photographer named Hanson Goodrich filed a patent application that resolved this exact engineering hurdle. Later that year, on August 13, 1889, the United States Patent Office granted him patent number 408,707 for an invention simply titled coffee pot. Goodrich did not invent the concept of percolation itself, but he designed the specific upflow stovetop configuration that would define the modern kitchen appliance. His design relied on a self-contained system built from three essential components. At the bottom was a lower water reservoir that doubled as a heat-conductive base. Extending upward from this base was a central upflow tube. Hanging near the top of the tube was a perforated basket, meaning it was punctured with dozens of small holes to hold the coffee ground securely above the water level. The operation of the device relied entirely on basic thermodynamics, completely avoiding the need for an external mechanical pump or moving parts. When a user placed the pot on a hot stove, the water in the lower chamber began to boil. This heating action generated steam and physical pressure, which naturally forced the hot water up through the narrow central tube. At the top of the tube, the liquid erupted, splashing over a deflector lid to spread evenly across the coffee grounds in the basket. As the water filtered down, it passed through the holes of the perforated basket and returned to the main reservoir below. This initiated a continuous process of recirculation, where the same water continuously passed through the grounds, extracting more flavor with each cycle. The longer the pot remained on the heat, the stronger the brew became. By integrating the reservoir, the heating base, and a passive steam pump into a single vessel, Goodrich created a simple, durable brewing architecture. His 1889 patent simplified previous European designs and made home percolation practical for everyday households. The blueprint was complete, and the design was ready to transition from a paper patent into a manufactured physical product. Manufacturers quickly turned Hanson Goodrich's patent drawings into physical reality, casting stovetop vessels from aluminum or tin-plated steel. These early pots featured a flat base for direct contact with wood or gas burners, but they soon incorporated a small design change that became a hallmark of the device: a clear glass top. This glass observation dome let home brewers monitor the color and speed of the water erupting from the central tube, turning the morning kitchen routine into a quiet visual ritual. The real change came with the expansion of home electrical grids. In 1905, General Electric published a pamphlet titled Coffee Making by Electricity, introducing consumers to the idea of a plug-in brewer. By 1912, Westinghouse introduced its own early electric model, mounting a resistance heating element directly beneath the lower water reservoir to boil water as fast as a gas flame. During this era, calling these new electric appliances automatic did not mean they possessed modern programmable precision. Instead, it simply meant the unit housed its own heating source. Over the following decades, companies like Sunbeam, Hamilton Beach, Bunn, and General Electric introduced practical safety and design refinements. Thermostatic switches regulated the heat to prevent scorching, while insulated handles, locking lids, and pressure relief valves offered boil-over protection. These advancements scaled easily, allowing manufacturers to produce everything from small family-sized models to massive 55-cup institutional batches for busy offices and diners. By the 1910s, the percolator was fast becoming a permanent fixture in American life, a status it maintained securely through the 1950s. Mail-order catalogs from Sears and Montgomery Ward made these sturdy brewers easily accessible to distant rural farms and urban flats alike, while contemporary cookbooks and domestic guides treated percolation as the standard, ordinary method for daily coffee preparation. Picture a typical mid-century household. A large, gleaming metal pot sits on the stove, preparing a full batch for a shared family breakfast before the workday begins. For decades, two specific sensory cues defined the start of the morning in these homes: the rhythmic, gurgling sound of the first hot bubbles hitting the glass observation dome, and the heavy aroma of warm coffee that soon filled the room. This setup thrived because it was durable and simple to operate. Constructed from thick steel, brass, or aluminum, a single pot could withstand years of constant, unforgiving use in family kitchens, boarding houses, neighborhood diners, and busy offices. It consistently delivered the hot, strong, full-bodied cup that suited the tastes of the era. Yet this robust brewing process came with a clear physical trade-off. Because the system continuously recirculated already brewed coffee back over the warm grounds at near boiling temperatures, leaving the pot on the active burner for too long caused severe overextraction. This prolonged exposure generated a bitter, harsh flavor. To protect the taste, users had to monitor the kitchen closely, learning exactly when to lower the stove burner or remove the pot from the flame entirely. The exact mechanics that gave the appliance its popularity also established its greatest brewing limit. Before coffee could ever reach a percolator, the raw green beans had to be roasted. In the late 19th century, this work relied on wood-fired drum roasters, rotating iron containers that tumbled the beans over open flames. Operating historic designs like the Carter pull-out or the self-emptying Burns roaster demanded constant physical labor. Eventually, commercial operators turned to gas systems for greater control and scale. Yet a few of these antique wood-fired machines still exist and operate in working workshops today. Once roasted, the next great challenge was keeping those precious beans fresh. While historical records verify the existence of a surviving wood-fired roaster built in 1896, its precise ownership and current operational status remain difficult to independently confirm. Regardless of its daily use, the machines of this era highlight a massive challenge for late 19th century coffee producers: keeping roasted beans fresh during transport. To solve this, manufacturers turned to early vacuum-sealed packaging. By using hand pumps or steam to remove air from tin-lined metal cans, they slowed down oxidation and locked in the volatile oils that give coffee its aroma. This storage technology allowed roasted coffee to travel long distances without spoiling. But once the fresh beans arrived in household kitchens, the focus shifted entirely back to the stove. In 1972, a new brewing system entered the American market, transforming how households prepared their morning coffee. Vincent Marotta Sr. and Samuel Glazer introduced Mr. Coffee, the first highly successful automatic drip coffee maker designed specifically for home kitchens. Unlike the continuous recirculating process of the percolator, this machine relied on a controlled, single-pass method. Heated water flowed exactly once through the grounds, passing through a disposable paper filter directly into a glass carafe. This design addressed the exact taste and usability limitations that had plagued the older metal pots. By avoiding repeated boiling, the automatic drip promised a gentler extraction and a cleaner-tasting cup entirely free of sediment and the bitter overtones caused by overextraction. The appliance also eliminated the need for constant kitchen supervision. Users simply added water and grounds, pressed a button, and walked away, trusting the machine to deliver a consistent beverage without the risk of boiling over. The convenience of this single-pass method quickly spread beyond residential countertops. By the mid-1970s, competitors like Bunn introduced rapid home models, and offices and commercial diners began retiring their heavy institutional percolators. These workspaces favored the faster cleanup of disposable paper filters and the reliable flavor consistency that kept office coffee from scorching on a burner all day. This transition represented a gradual realignment of household priorities rather than an instant collapse of the older market. Consumer expectations had changed. The boiling, gurgling metal pot that had long served as the primary sign of modern kitchen progress was increasingly seen as loud, high maintenance, and difficult to control, paving the way for a quieter, more convenient era of home brewing. While automated systems and single-serve pods came to dominate modern kitchens, the older method found a secure home in a dedicated subculture. Since the late 20th century, a quiet revival has brought together a varied community of campers, off-grid residents, vintage collectors, and traditionalists who reject the disposable nature of modern kitchen electronics. For these enthusiasts, the appeal lies in values that modern appliances often ignore: simplicity, portability, and long-term durability. Stovetop pots require no electrical outlets, making them indispensable for wilderness campsites, remote cabins, and large outdoor gatherings. Unlike plastic drip machines designed for eventual replacement, these heavy metal vessels are easily cleaned, repaired, and kept in service for decades. This choice is not a simple rejection of modern technology, but a deliberate preference for a specific brewing experience. The rhythmic sound of water hitting the glass dome and the rich aroma filling the room are no longer just signals that the coffee is ready. Instead, they are celebrated parts of a hands-on, sensory practice. Those who brew this way actively choose a heavy, full-bodied cup, valuing the depth of flavor that only continuous hot water circulation can provide. This connection to traditional craftsmanship also mirrors modern efforts to preserve older production methods. Today, specialty brands package wood-roasted beans in vacuum-sealed tin cans, providing a direct link to 19th century preservation techniques. Ultimately, the survival of the percolator is driven by those who value a physical, active role in their daily preparation, keeping a classic 19th century design alive on modern stovetops and open campfires. Today, the percolator is no longer a kitchen necessity, but a deliberate choice. In our endless drive for push-button convenience, we often sacrifice the tactile connection to what we consume. Keeping this classic vessel active reminds us that sometimes the richest experiences require us to slow down. What do you think? Share your thoughts below.